Welcome everybody to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studios. I just wanted to announce this is the first time in 2 months that we've had the whole team. I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine, Chip Hayner, and Smokin' Jim Frazier is back 2 weeks in a row. Look at him. He can see now. And we still don't know what happened in the accident or whatever, but he's driving a new car, so they get a shoehorn and they fit him in the car. He took his shoes off to drive. It's unbelievable. That's my man. My brother from another mother. It's nice to have him back. We got sports to talk about, some nonsense to talk about for sure, and we're going to go from there. Thanks for watching us on Comcast 7 only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and the surrounding area from Nemacolin all the way to Cranberry, Wexford, and all points in between. We appreciate that. On Facebook, thanks for liking our page and watching our shows. 6865. That's how many likes we have. We appreciate that. A lot of hard work to get those likes, and thank you for doing that. It's very well appreciated. We've got a good show tonight. I got some promos to put up. Let's see if they got the camera ready here. We got Steve, who was Rookie of the Year. Now I'm just calling him MVP. There it is. First one, Olive Oil's Pizzeria, 412-831-1900. Jeff is there. Contact Jeff. They'll tell you what deals they have. They got a great crew working with them. They made us our pizza and hoagie. It was delicious. You can hear Smokin' Jim chomping in the background. How is that, Smokin' Jim?
It was so good.
I know you can see it now, so that's a bonus. Next up, Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. Joey before DIPG, after DIPG, the brain cancer that took his life at 9 years, right before his 9th birthday. They've raised over $100,000. And with the Joey Strong Foundation, it's just great. You can go to the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. They have a night at the races on May 17th at Community Center, 7 o'clock, right in the middle of downtown Bethel Park. So check out the Community Center and night at the races. The Bethel Park Historical Society Arts and History Center. They do a lot of great things. They have businesses renting out there. And by the way, they have a new coffee shop in Bethel Park right in the one corner of the building. I've been there twice, Reginald's Coffee. Now, I'm a green tea guy, and they supplied me with some green tea. It was delicious. Dragonwell. I put a picture up, got about 200 likes on it, so thanks to everybody. Appreciate that. But they do a lot of great things there, and check out the coffee shop. It's 1.6 miles from my house, so it's very close. And you can see it at 2600 South Park Road, right where the big trolley is. So check that out. Tell them Al Levine, the Talking Machine, sent you to Reginald's Coffee. And I heard they have great coffee too. All right, if you have a group in Bethel Park that needs money, we got $100 to $5,000 available for you and your group to do great things in Bethel Park. If you're doing things with your group here, you can get money to help fund it and do more great things in the community. Go to bpcf.org, get an application. I'm one of the trustees on the board. Come on out and plead your case on why you need that money. Again, that's Bethel Park Community Foundation. Next, Dave Cable likes to have a little fun at my expense. There it is. Thank you. There's my face on Uncle Sam. Tell them Uncle Al sent you to BPTV to help out like Jack and Zach and Steve, who came back after his hiatus at CCAC. He's back tonight putting this audio and video together for us. I want you for BPTV. You could be a volunteer running cameras, running soundboard. right here in the studio and on location with different events that we do. Call 412-831-3304. Tell them Al Levine, the Talking Machine, said you could be a volunteer. Check it out. We also have a sponsor of our What's on Your Mind, Skeets Lewandowski of Skeets Service Station. He sponsors our show with What's on Your Mind. Anything and everything that runs on gas, he works on it. 724-348-4715. Man, this shirt looks great under the lights. Real men wear pink, and it's very bright and glowing. How about that tan from the deck? Smoking Jim Frazier, no sprayed on tan here. This is sipping green tea, cutting some grass. And look what we have. We're going to
vitamin D, huh?
D3, baby. Every 20 minutes, 20,000 IUs of D3. Everybody needs D3.
Wow.
Especially black folks like you, Smoking Jim. In case people didn't know, you're a black man imitating Stevie Wonder. So I appreciate that. We're going to start our show off with What's on Your Mind, Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. And if you want the green,
It's coming at you.
you got
Watch close.
to see Levine.
Yeah. Look at those hands. No
I feel
fumble.
like
Last
Andy.
last time you were here, you would have missed that.
That's right. I
He
feel
didn't even see it.
I feel like Andy Isabella, fastest white guy I know, going to be a good receiver from UMass. I think he got taken in the second round by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Arizona Cardinals.
Well, pick your team. What team?
And look at that little white guy, Andy Isabella, like him.
Who's going to be throwing him the ball?
In Arizona, probably a guy shorter than him.
5'10".
Can't get much shorter than Andy.
5'10".
Yeah. But when I was off, one of the things I did, man, I'm watching all these shows, about where can they find Bigfoot, where can they find the Loch Ness Monster, where can they find Bigfoot, and I figured it out. Bigfoot's in Monroeville. Yeah, I wanted to come clean, let everybody know that I'm Bigfoot. But,
Yeah, last week, folks, we leave our show. Smoking Jim bought a new car that's a couple years old, a few years old. It's a small car. First of all, I didn't think, he's a rather large man, in case you didn't notice. You can see that, can't you? Well, he goes, all right, I'm going to take off. So he goes to sit in his car. First of all, I had to get a shoehorn out to get him into the car. And I said, that looks a little tight. Then he's grabbing at his foot. And he goes, hey, Talking Machine, 17 size shoe doesn't fit in this car. I got the gas and the brake at the same time. So I go, no pun intended, you don't want to have an accident, do you? So he took the other shoe off, put both shoes down there, and he drove off beeping and smiling. And his sunglasses were on, and it was dark as could be. I just said a prayer, and that's my best friend.
you wouldn't go ahead of me, would you?
No. I said, you lead the pack. And I let you take off like you did when you were a running back at Gateway. You hit that hole running. Never stopped. Didn't stop for that tee that was stuck there or anything. You just went right on by
Only
it.
black guy on the tee.
No. Never would have known that by all those pictures in black and white that you put up.
Hey,
Just had to share that, folks.
we got a Pittsburgh Sports Line high school basketball team of the year, and we've voted on it unanimously. And it goes out to Mount Lebanon boys basketball team and Coach Joey David.
Whoa.
Joey David, outstanding, and his son played 4 years at Kentucky.
Wow.
Just graduated, so congratulations.
I didn't know that anybody played 4 years at Kentucky.
Yeah.
I thought
When
that-
you're white and you sit at the end of the bench, you play 4 years at Kentucky.
I thought they only did one and done.
I got a feeling he's going to go into coaching, bro. But, hey, at least he made it to senior night. He got on the court for senior night.
Yeah, there's plenty of room, right?
Yeah.
You didn't have to worry about getting stepped on, right?
Yeah, that's right. But hey, what's on my mind is
Yeah, what is?
also I called the Pittsburgh Pirates this week, so get ready. Al Levine, the talking machine, gave them a little piece of my mind because they didn't make good on those zoo tickets. So
Hold
I
it.
said,
Let me explain what the conversation was. Hello, Pirates. This is Smoking Jim Frazier. Last year you gave me 2,000 tickets. I expect the same. Okay, sir.
1,200.
1,200. Well, I knew if I exaggerated, you'd tell me the truth. Now, here's the question I have. Why would they give you tickets last year? How did you even contact them to get tickets? And why would they do it again?
And they shorted me on zoo tickets, so I told them I want some tickets to, because my favorite team is the LA Dodgers.
Yeah.
I said I want some Dodger tickets Saturday night because they gave me off-brand nights, Tuesday here, Wednesday there.
As well they
Monday
should,
there.
because who the heck are you?
Now it's the 25th, so get ready Saturday night. Is
I'll
that the
be
25th?
there, man.
We'll all be there together.
I'll be there.
So
How's that even going to happen, and why would they give you a
And
ticket?
you realize the game starts at 7:05, you know, so that like it doesn't start in the third inning.
I may leave before it gets dark. But,
Let me just tell you, a friend posted the other day, you'll appreciate it because you don't see that well at night with the sunglasses, but they said a couple weeks ago, the next 4 months, the sun sets after 8 o'clock at night, the
Wow.
next 4 months.
wow.
Okay,
Wow.
just so I can tell you that again. After 8 o'clock, the sun
I have to
sets.
cut my grass before then.
Yes.
All right. But,
Didn't you see how high it was?
yeah.
Now you do.
I trimmed it down a little bit. But hey, I watched 2 Pirate games so far this year. About a month ago, I just happened to turn the TV on, and they were on national TV.
Yeah.
And Rodriguez was pitching. He gave up back-to-back homers to lose the game. So I figured that may be bad luck. So I stopped watching the Pirates and listening to it. I turned on the radio this week, and they're already down 14-1. So I'm a little bad luck, but hey,
Well, what was the other game you watched?
whatever game that was, Rodriguez came in and gave up back-to-back. It was national TV game.
Well, that
They
was
gave up
one.
Back-to-back
That was
home
one
runs
game.
to
What's the
lose
second
game.
one? You said you'd watch 2 games.
I don't know. It was the radio. I turned it on
Ah.
this week. They were down
Well, you're.
14-1.
I figured you're watching.
They have won 4 of their last 5. The only game they lost was the one.
They were They was in first place. Last I heard that I turned on.
They're only
they
3
were,
games out of first right now, 16 and 15.
But they was 12-6. They're not 12-6 anymore.
No, they're not.
Okay. But, hey, real quick, because I want to get to Chipper. But because of the, I'm thinking I'm bad luck, but it's really a curse. And I know you guys don't believe in sports curses, and I went through this again, and I'll just go through it quickly. In 1958, Bobby Lane got traded from the Detroit Lions to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He said they won't win another championship for 50 years. It's 61 years later, still no championship. 1992, Sid Bream put the curse on the Pittsburgh Pirates, and before you know it, they're down for now. Everybody's getting injured. Every time I turn around, every starter is getting injured. Chip talked about that beforehand. Of course, Marc-Andre Fleury put the curses on the Penguins for that.
What
They
happened to
actually
his
put
team?
the curse on the Las Vegas Knights. Did you not hear what he did in the deciding Game 7? He gave up 4 goals in the last 5 minutes of the game to lose the game and lose the series.
And
The
like
curse
we,
hit him.
And like we always said, it takes 2 great goaltenders. If he played with the Penguins, they'd won back-to-back Stanley Cups the last couple of years.
I
But
don't think so.
But the real curse, and a lot of people don't realize it, the real curse is when Santonio Holmes, I said the Pittsburgh Steelers after they backstabbed, Santonio Holmes would not win another Super Bowl, and they haven't. And it's been about 10 years, 11 years and counting. And
Is that the curse you put on him?
huh?
Is that the curse you put on
I
him?
knew that was a curse when they backstabbed Santonio Holmes. I says, "Oh, you'll never win another Super Bowl," and look like they'll never go to another Super Bowl because it's now in the Cleveland Brown era with Greedy Williams. But that's what's on my mind.
Smoking Jim,
Go
you,
Browns.
you may be seeing things, but you're still outstanding with your predictions there.
If,
Thank you, Smoking Jim.
If it's brown, flush it down.
Go ahead, Chip. What's
What's
on your
my
mind?
Okay. I think we have gotten to the point where I am very much so in the corner of we need to do away with instant replay with anything that has anything to
Thank
do
you. Thank
with
you.
professional sports.
I tore my
You
ticket
know,
up.
and the thing that tipped the scales in that favor was watching actually trying to follow the feed while I was enjoying a Pirate victory last Saturday night, because apparently they win when I show up. But it's a good thing I listen more frequently than Jim, and I go to the games. So anyhow,
That's the bottom line.
but you know, it takes them 22 minutes of reviewing the replays to determine whether or not an infraction happened. Okay, now personally myself, I think that, you know, if you look at the conditions that the race was being run in, and Alan, I may defer to you on this.
I will tell
your
you.
your horse racing expertise
I will.
would be much appreciated. But I mean, it was a sloppy, muddy track.
With 18 horses.
Well,
I
thought
tore
it was
my
19.
ticket up.
Well, 19. I
Okay,
think,
so
yeah.
you got almost 20 horses on the track. And, you know, so you're saying that in the last quarter of the race that he impeded another horse's, you know, how do
No,
you
no,
control
here's how simple it is. Because I know lay people, it's hard for them to understand it. But the horse is supposed to be in the position and part from the rail out in his lane. If he veers into there, he's in violation because he ran into another horse or two, which I've seen accidents at the Meadows
How can you
because that
tell?
happened.
can you
Now, they were lucky in this race because the horse stepped between his legs with his step, and the horse veered over and cut in front, impeding 2 or 3 other horses.
but-
And here's why it takes so long. It was definitely the jockeys brought it to the attention of the steward. The stewards missed it, which to me shouldn't have been missed, because it was a
That's
violation.
their only job.
That was a violation
That's
for
their
sure.
only job.
When I saw it happening, I've watched races before, and I go, "This is bad," because
So,
I knew from watching hundreds
okay,
of races.
but
Yeah.
after watching hundreds of races,
Yeah,
how many times has something like that happened
I'll tell you.
and it not been called?
well, I've seen it happen a few
And
times where
you've
they
seen that
haven't
where there's
in
been
the harness
catastrophic-
horses.
Yes.
And I've also been there when there's been accidents where you had 9 horses on the track and
Yeah,
3
that-
finished.
Really?
Yeah.
Guys broke their backs, arms,
no.
sternums,
Right,
were
but-
injured.
that.
But all this
I saw
being
that.
said,
I even saw horses die on the track.
Maybe I'm a little naive in thinking this, but why would contact in one portion of the racetrack be any less significant than the contact that happens when
It
they're
isn't.
jockeying
No,
for
it-
position at the start of the race?
It isn't, but at the start of the race, that's always been an exception because you got
okay.
horses taking missteps.
So it's
Like sometimes they're going down to one knee.
we don't go by the rule. We go by what the intent is.
Here,
we
no,
leave it
here's
into
the problem.
interpretation.
If you wanted to go by the rule, you could do that.
This is what my problem is with video replay, okay? Because at what point do we draw the line on replay and what can be done? You know,
Here's
and-
where they draw the line. After the starting gate,
Yeah. You know,
if it happens after that, guess what? It's a violation. They've thrown other horses, like a horse has finished second, he'll be declared 5th. One of the reasons it took 22 minutes is they knew there was a violation. Now they had to go, where are you putting this horse at?
frame by frame.
They had to go and say, okay, this horse was
Something-
interfered with, this horse was. And they went down to all the way through it.
That this was something that could not have been, that was not picked up by the human eye, by the person that was watching specifically for that to
No,
happen.
but here's the bottom line. The driver, well, I call them
Well,
drivers because of the Meadows,
but
but
it's-
the jockeys knew that.
But, okay, so
When they got off
we're
of the
getting-
horse-
we're getting away from my point.
Yeah, but when they get off the horse, they throw a flag on it.
So with replay,
Yeah.
and the problem I have with replay is games are played by human beings,
Mm-hmm.
and human beings are flawed.
Yeah.
Games and sporting events are judged or refereed by human beings, in just same way that the participants are flawed, the referees are flawed, and we should learn to accept and to live with these facts. Now, what's going to happen here in the NFL when the season starts? Do you have any idea of what kind of a nightmare that they're going to create? Because now they can call pass interference off of a replay. Well, what about all the holding calls? Like while you're looking to see if somebody had pass interference, and you see an offensive lineman tackling the defensive end and laying on him that didn't get whistled. So at what point? So you're going to be able to call one foul?
I'll tell you this: there's holding on every play.
Right, and there's pass interference on every pass
Yeah.
play. So what are we going to do to the game? Are we going to make? Are we going to slow down
As long as it's
the game?
after the starting gate.
So is it going to be 20 minutes? I think, you know what we should do? We should get rid of the replay altogether. There is no replay. The call that's made on the field, that's the call that people live with. It's been happening since the beginning of organized sports. And, you know, in baseball's 150 years old?
Yeah.
And people have been yelling, kill the ump, for 150 years. I hope they keep yelling it for another 150 years. I don't want an automated strike zone. I don't want every play to be reviewed because the game's long enough as it is. What are we going to do? Review every ball and strike call during the course of a game? At some place.
But the one sidebar I want to put to this, they didn't have to do a replay. Because all that had to happen is the jockey files his grievance against it.
Right, but
They look at the race one time and they go, there's the violation because he said where it happened. They tell them exactly where it happened when they're coming down the lane out of a turn. And that's why they have that rule, because in turns, it's so dangerous if a horse veers right.
And I can understand
They can knock
that,
him
but
its
you
feet
look
out.
you look at the conditions that race was being run in, and you could tell from
Well, they
the
shouldn't
footage
have
I've seen.
even. They
is
shouldn't
that
have even ran the race.
The jockey did not deliberately.
No.
No,
It was the horse took a misstep.
The horse got spooked.
Well, by the crowd.
Because it wasn't so used to being
He
in
got
front of a
spooked
big
because he's
crowd.
a 3-year-old. You should hear some of them cover their ears so they don't hear the noises. We had a horse that would jump shadows. They put a shadow roll on. He would jump a shadow when he'd see it going around the track.
Wow.
They go, we can't have that happen, so they put these big shadow rolls on the horse.
Wow.
These are the little nuances that you don't see.
I know, I
But
didn't
when there's a rule violation, all they do is the jockey says, here's where I was, here's what happened. They go, okay, we'll look at that. That's how simple it is.
My point.
Guilty.
Get rid of replay altogether.
Yeah, but that would still happen in a race.
They'd have to. No, because they didn't see the infraction happen. How do they watch the race again? Which, in other
Well,
words,
they-
they're watching a replay.
Put it like this, they trust the jockeys to be honest because they can get fined and suspended if they're not.
Yeah, and
That's what happens to
And
them
bullied.
because
And bullied.
no, they
Because
don't
they're
talk
so
about
little.
bullying because they're small. They just get away with
Yeah,
it. They
you
run
know,
undercover.
anytime.
But
you-
no, I've seen
with
races
the kind
where
of money that's put on these things, to think that somebody might embellish slightly. I
well,
don't
with
think
horse
it's beyond the
racing,
realm.
I've seen it in harness horses, thoroughbred horses with different violations, and they come down. So,
Okay.
so I bet on horses, and I don't rip the ticket up because it might be a winner. You just never know. But that one race, 3 horses finished. 6 horses went down just in the first quarter. First quarter of the race.
Oh, my goodness.
One horse went out, veered to the right, knocked the feet out of all the under. They were all the leading horses. The ones in behind were the 3. They went around it and ended up coming in first, second, and third. So, I mean, I've seen it.
Can I say
And
one
it's a
thing?
dangerous thing.
before you
Sure.
go, Talking
Your 2
Machine?
cents would be appreciated.
In the 140-year history of the Kentucky Derby,
45.
45 had never been overturned before. And I feel like, what if I had the winning ticket? I'd be heartbroken. But I will say this. I don't agree with instant replay in sports, except for I think that you need to have an automatic strike zone. The computer should do that in baseball.
No,
I think that'd
absolutely
be
not. If you want to play video games, sit at home and play video games.
It would get,
No.
it would get me to be
I am
a
glad
fan.
we had this discussion. Your
Get rid
2
of the
cents.
DH. Get rid of automated strike zones. Get rid of replays. All of it. Throw it in the garbage can. Let's just enjoy the games as they're played.
Well, the replay thing has gotten out of control. Even though the race was called right and the rules were broken, I understand your concern about replays going to nth degree where they shouldn't.
Yeah, they
And that's
you know,
a problem there.
It's gotten to a point where
If I had that winning ticket, I'd have been upset.
At what point do we draw the line? And you know, because the way I look at it is, if you're going to replay anything, you should replay everything. And I think that's really ridiculous to think that. So, and the other option is replay nothing.
Well,
Yeah.
you got to get some automatic strike zone.
He's told you. How many times he got to
It's not
tell you?
slowing up the game. It's making it more efficient, isn't it?
Jim, you're taking the umpires out of the game. The umpires are as much a part of the game of baseball as the pitcher, the catcher,
Just
the,
one.
the 8 players in the field, okay, the manager. You know, it's all part of the game. You don't mess with tradition.
Smoking Jim doesn't even understand that.
I didn't know about the infield fly rule.
He just found out about that. All right, we're going to move on.
It's
Thanks,
something
Chip.
new.
Thanks, Chip. That's been for a
It's
long.
150 years old, Jim.
He still doesn't understand. After the show, you can talk. All right, what's
The
on
other
my?
rule you need to concern yourself is Rule 21, Paragraph D.
No,
Yes.
no.
That's a good rule. He signed that too. He is very arrogant, like you. He thought he could get away with it because he'll be dead. So I'll go in there after he dies and go in and they'll reinstate me. Guess what? He was wrong. They said, look what you signed. Smoking Jim Frazier. All right, mine's short and sweet. The Buccos have been up and down this season, won the last 4 out of 5. Last couple games they've won in a row. I'm watching the game, and I see it's extra innings again. I'm like, how did this happen? I didn't have a good feeling about it. Then Marte hit the ball over the wall for a 2-run homer, and they win 5.
3-run.
I thought it was 2.
3-run homer.
3-run.
It was
I
3-2.
That's what it was. Yeah.
It was 3-2. We
I
ended up
gotcha.
winning 5-3.
He hit the 3-run homer. I got it misconstrued with the numbers there, 3-2, and then
That's
5-3.
That's what I'm here to.
Thank you, Chipper.
Just the
But yeah, I
facts.
got the Marte Parte, and we won the game. And we got the Buccos playing again tonight. So they got so many injuries. We'll talk about it on the back end of the show when we got Pirate Talk. We'll fill you in on that and what's happening with injuries and sore arms and good arms and bad arms and who did this and who did that. But we'll be back with some fiction and fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac.
I love my mom, Nora Cable, because she is beautiful.
Gloria Levine. I have fond memories of my mother.
I'm so blessed to still have my mother and to be able to spend time with her because she lives close by.
My mom's going to be 91 this year, so just bless her. She's still going strong, lives in her own apartment, and takes care of everybody like she always did.
You know, I lost my mother a few years back, and that's always something difficult to go through.
And I think of her each day. She died August 17th, 1988. We lost her much too soon due to complications of Alzheimer's at the age of 55.
Hi, so as we approach Mother's Day here in a few weeks, I just want to give a shout out to my mom, Margot Fittipaldo.
I want to tell you how much I appreciate everything that you've done for me from the time I was born until, well, still now. You still help me. You've been a great mom.
Mama lets me go outside.
Thanks, Mom, for all that you do. Even as a grown woman, you are still helping me out, and I still get my special meal requests and my homemade iced tea.
And imagining 4 kids within 5 years being born, and we were raised as teenagers. It was a little crazy with my 3 sisters, Joy, Judy, and Hope.
You know, I'm one of 10 kids, so she's an amazing woman. There's nothing she can't do.
My favorite memories have always been watching her in the kitchen because she's such a wonderful cook.
She helps me get breakfast.
In retrospect, as I think back, one of the things that I probably thank her for the most is that she dragged me into the kitchen and taught me all of her recipes for cooking all that great Italian and ethnic food that the family grew up on.
And my mother was a voracious reader. She had a book going or a couple books going every day. And through that love of reading, I love books, and my dad and mother took us to the library, all 4 of us, to the West End Library, 5 minutes away from our house in Green Tree.
I have this great picture of me and my mom on my desk at work. I'm less than a year old. I'm barely standing, and I look like a Polish man.
My advice to all of you mothers still out there, make sure you get your kids into the kitchen and they carry on those recipes.
Mother's Day, it's a great holiday. We should celebrate Mother's Day every day, not just that one day a year.
I just want to wish all the mothers watching this a very happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
We love our mothers. I love my mother.
I know I love my mother.
She's beautiful and great.
So to all the brave women out there that have taken on the challenges of motherhood, including my own mom, I love you, Ma. Happy Mother's Day from everyone here at BPTV.
So happy Mother's Day to everybody. Happy Mother's Day to you, mother that's watching, and hope you have many, many, many more.
So thanks again for everything. Happy Mother's Day, and I love you.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, Mama.
I do think of her each and every day. I just can't let her go, but what a kind and loving person she was.
Love you, Mom, and happy Mother's Day to everybody.
For I love you truly, Mother dear.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. Chipper, thanks. The rookie of the year's in the house, Steve Fisher. And my main man, Little Z, Zach Taylor. But I tell you what, Al Levine, the talking machine, and Chipper, the one thing I can say about Marte is when he does good, he speak good English, but when he does bad, he act like he don't know what you're talking about.
No, and when he does bad, he has an interpreter.
Yeah, that's it.
Just like Gong.
Gung has an interpreter all the time.
Yeah, he isn't. He needs a little something more than an interpreter.
He needs to hit the ball.
But I'm here. You know what? I think that it's time for everybody to get angry. I'm tired of being the only one on this soapbox about reverse discrimination in the NFL. It's been over 17 years since the last white starting defensive cornerback played and it suited up.
Who was it?
In the National Football League.
Who was it?
Jason Sehorn.
Okay.
And I question if he was 100% white.
He was. They did a DNA test on him.
Okay. Who did
He
it,
was
Maury?
Caucasian.
Yeah. But, you know, this reverse discrimination is getting out of control. It's another year in the draft. There was no white guys, cornerbacks taken in the NFL. Kevin Green, who's the all-time sack leader in the NFL, had to wait 17 years to go in the Hall of Fame. And the Pittsburgh Steelers drafted a guy named Sutton Smith. And I usually don't like guys
From NIU?
Yeah.
Northern Illinois?
Mm-hmm. I usually don't like guys with two last names. But I tell you what, if this guy was black, he'd have got drafted in the first round. 6'1", 240 pounds. This guy's all over the field. Two-time. He came out after his junior year, so I don't know if he needed the money. I don't know if he came from trailer trash or anything like that. But he didn't play a senior year.
Why didn't you dig a little deeper then? You're going for color.
He had 45 tackles for loss.
That led the nation.
Led the nation.
As a sophomore and a junior, all over the field. This guy is a great athlete. In high school, he ran for 2,000 yards and 32 touchdowns, was first-team All-State
Why is he on defense?
You know, defensive tackling machine all over the place. How in the world can somebody like that not go in the first round? Reverse discrimination. But, again, I got to take it one step further as I wind it up. The one drug of choice with white players is steroids. If the kid's not on steroids, if he plays like this Bud Dupree's in a world of trouble because this could be your next great player. You know, my favorite player of all time, even though he might not like black people, is Bill Romanowski. You don't have to like me for me to appreciate your game. I love Bill Romanowski, steroids. Lyle Alzado, steroids. Jim Haslett, steroids. Steve Corson, steroids. Tony Mandrich, greatest player in college football history, steroids. John
The
Ringstra.
steroids didn't help him be a pro.
No, because he had to get off of it. He lost 60-something pounds
Is that all?
in training camp. Ringstrom went from 305 to 255 and had stomach problems and was never the same. So if Sutton Smith, who's white, if he's not on steroids, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers got a great player who, if he was black, would have been a first-round draft choice. They got him in the 6th round. So that's the fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. Let's hope he's not on steroids, because he plays like he got roid rage.
Really?
I love the way he plays.
That's very unusual in your observation. I'm glad you're seeing things, Smoking Jim. Thank you for that insight.
It's a white man's drug.
We'll see what he
Thank you.
shows us up at St. Vincent's. Right?
Steroids. Thank you, Smoking Jim Frazier.
Starting to heat up in the baseball world. You know, the Pirates, through, you know, I don't know what to put this all on, but the Pirates are 16-15, and you, with the amount of injuries that they've had this year, that they're still playing winning baseball. It tells you something about the way that organization's being run and the people they have in the system. But what I would like to go over now is I was thinking about what are the 10 most unbreakable records in baseball.
Yeah,
okay?
I can't wait.
And
I got to agree with a couple of them for sure.
I'm sure you will. The one I feel should be number 1, not number 10, but number 10 is the consecutive game hitting streak. 56 games by
I'm
Joe
with
DiMaggio
you.
in the summer of 1941. That record has stood the test of time.
I got to agree with that. Won't be broken.
You know, Jolton Joe hit .403 and slugged .717 during the streak, anchoring the Yankees lineup from mid-May to mid-July for an incredible 2 months of historic baseball. Every year, some player goes on a 20 or 30 game streak, but the reality is that over 60 years, nobody has ever really come close. Pete Rose hit 44 straight in '78.
Yay.
Paul Molitor hit 39 in 1987. But the interesting thing about Joe DiMaggio's amazing season in 1941 was in that same season, Teddy Ballgame was the last player to bat over 400 for a season, and he did not win the MVP. Joe DiMaggio did. Okay, number 9 on the 10 most unbreakable records. Career no-hitters. Nolan Ryan with 7. Johnny Vandermeer's record of consecutive no-hitters in 1938 might be the more popular record, but Ryan's is the more impressive. For perspective, there have been 26 pitchers in the history of baseball, not including Ryan, who have ever thrown multiple no-hitters. So, yeah. Now here's one from my friend Jim. Single-season home run record, 73 home runs by Barry Bonds.
Never be broken.
And this is a very good picture here of his extended, his huge cranium, because, you know, he wasn't on the juice, was he? But
it was clear.
As long as ever since they have got the steroids out, it's funny how nobody even sniffs at 50 anymore. So
That's hard, yeah.
Number 7 on the career unbreakable list, career stolen bases. Ricky Henderson with 1,406 stolen bases, a record that I feel will never be broken.
I don't like a brother having that kind of record.
Single season batting average record, average of .440 by Hugh Duffy. No, that's you. That's Ichiro's. But Ichiro's career high is only .372. Hugh Duffy did this in.
You say 444.
440.
440. Wow.
440 season batting average.
Don't sound right.
That's strong.
Yeah, they say that Duffy's record is safe. I'm going to see if they don't have what year he did that in.
No, that would be safe.
Yes. Next up, single season strikeouts for a pitcher. 513 by Matt Kilroy. He was a 20-year-old rookie for the Baltimore Orioles in 1886. He struck out 513 batters in 583 innings. Now, just to put perspective on this, they call, in today's Major League Baseball, a guy that pitches 200 innings an innings eater.
Yeah.
He did 2.5 times that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
I don't think that record will be broken with
I don't think-
specialization and the limit on pitchers and pitch count.
Yes. Well, then
The
this
pitch
is-
count especially.
And he, you know what? And after the, and he probably pitched consecutive days, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
something that they don't know now. Number 4 on the unbeatable list: career strikeouts. Nolan Ryan with 5,714. I don't think anybody's there. Randy Johnson came in second with 4,875. And Roger Clemens is third with 4,672. And he had to cheat to get there.
Smoking Jim loves him. Steroids
I,
were good. Helped him recover.
Next up on the list, career shutouts.
Whoa.
The big train, Walter Johnson, with 110 career shutouts. And I don't think anybody's
No,
going to
that's
touch
going to
that.
be hard to get that in this day and age. Come on. Especially complete games.
Number 2, the Iron Man streak of Cal Ripken Jr. 2,632 consecutive games. He was in the starting lineup for the Baltimore Orioles. He broke Lou Gehrig's record, and then we get down to the one.
All he did was show up for work.
Well, then in this day and age when they need a rest, like basketball players, baseball players, they're in their 20s, they need a day off to rest.
I don't understand.
How's that going to happen? I rest my case.
The number 1 most unbreakable record of all time would be career wins. And they named the award after him. Cy Young with 511 career
There
wins.
is no way in the
There
world.
is no way. I doubt very highly if we will see another 300-win pitcher in our lifetime.
It's going to be hard. Yeah, just the way the game's changing.
The way the game's changing and the longevity, it's just not there anymore.
Yeah, look at these pitchers. They're getting Tommy John surgery, and they're done in a couple years.
Yeah, so there you go. 10 records that I feel are going to be are unbreakable records in the game of baseball.
Did you have 4,000 hits in there anywhere?
Oh, wait, I have one question. Who's the guy that'll never get in the Hall of Fame that has the most hits in Major League Baseball?
And you want to know something? But you know, even something more interesting about him? He's not even in the top 100 of the all-time best hitters in baseball history. Not even in the top 100. He's number 105.
Boy, they hate him.
No, those are facts.
Those are just the facts, Jim.
Nobody's opinions in there like yours. Come on, Smoking Jim, put your eyes on there. Thank you, Chip Hayner. I appreciate that.
Good job, Chipper.
Tan. Look at that. Real tan. It is not spray on tan like Smoking Jim Frazier. On location. Guess what? Next week we'll be at Olive Oil's Pizzeria, 930 Brookline Boulevard. Bruno Sammartino's son, Daryl's going to be there. Larry Richard from KDKA, the Dreadlock DJ. Dan Bogan's going to be there. And I got 4 boxers coming from the Bronson House who all won Golden Gloves. Come on out there. They got specials. They got food specials, pizza specials. You never know what Frank Finero have out there. Check it out. It's a great time for shows. Joanne Forrester said she's going to stop by. She lives about 3 blocks away.
She back in town?
She's been in town. She lives in Brookline. I know you don't know who she is or whatever, but you said we miss her, so she said she wants to come out to the show, and she said she'd be there. Wants to see Smoking Jim doing his Stevie Wonder impression. Can't wait to see that. But yeah, we may be looking at VFW and Millvale, doing some shows out there. I put a call in to Jose Caraballo. He asked us to do shows. He didn't get back to me yet, so that's coming attractions there. We'll have to see what's going on. So stay tuned for where we'll be on our next show next Monday, Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Pirate baseball's on our mind. Who would think? Well, I know Smokin' Jim doesn't believe it, but they have a winning record with 15 injuries. Smokin' Jim doesn't think they're going to win 79 games this year. I predicted about 84, 85, and I see a lot of life in this team, and they play some competitive baseball where they don't give up. I know Chip agrees. He goes to the games much more than I do. I've been only to a couple, but you know, I appreciate what they put together on the field. Like I said before, when I grew up, I didn't care who owned the team. I don't care if bottom line Bob owns the team or not. It's what do you put on the field. I want to see good players, whether they're young, old, or whatever. Melky Cabrera is playing his heart out. Defensively, offensively, I'll take him in the outfield over Polanco. Let me just say it. What?
Do you care that they lack
We got
leadership?
it now.
No, there's a lot of leadership.
They
on that
got
team
it
right
now. They got rid of
they-
guys that were a cancer in that dugout.
No.
They were
No,
cancerous.
You know, what you got going on with the Pirates? And you could sit there and say, oh, they've had a lot of injuries, but I try to
They
look
did.
at I try to look at things positively, and I look at some of the reasons to be excited for this team. You've got Cole Tucker. This kid is going to be a major league shortstop,
And he has nice hair.
And, well, Jim brought that up to me. But
I just had to share that.
But here's a young kid who plays with a lot of enthusiasm. He's a great defensive shortstop.
Yeah,
he can make
he is.
all the plays. All right, so he's he's a little bit questionable in the batter's box, but that
He's
that
had
can
his
come around.
moments. He's had his moments.
I was there for his first major league hit, which was a home run into the ivy,
Which doesn't happen too
to
often.
win the game in his first game. Another kid that they brought up who
Well, let me ask you one question.
excuse me.
Oh, he's on a roll.
The young man that they brought up, his name's Brian Reynolds. Brian Reynolds hitting the cover off the ball,
Yeah.
playing a strong outfield, and this is a kid that we got as part of the trade for Andrew McCutchen. Okay, we
Yeah.
got Colin Moran,
Yeah.
and we got Brian Reynolds. We got
Was it Musgrove?
no Musgrove. We got from Houston in
Okay,
the Garrett
that's-
Cole
yeah.
trade. But anyhow, here's a kid that's just an unbelievable talent, and had not somebody gotten injured, he wouldn't even have an opportunity to play. He'd be playing in Indianapolis right now.
Right.
So he's getting a chance to.
Is he,
you were
is
going to
he-
see.
is he the kid that's 12 games in a row?
Yes.
Streak? Okay, that's why I was going.
Yeah. Yes.
How do you know that? How did you
Yeah.
focus
So-
on that?
So and here's the interesting thing is that when Starling Marte is not in the lineup, I think the Pirates are 1-9.
Yeah.
And with Marte in the lineup, even though Marte is performing a little bit under what expectations are for him,
Yeah.
he's going to come around. He hit a big hit Sunday afternoon to help take the series from the Oakland A's with a 3-run homer in the bottom of the 13th inning. Didn't think the Pirates were going to be able to pull that out. They gave up 2 runs in
It
the
didn't
top of
look
the
good.
13th.
It didn't look good.
And lo and behold, this is a team, they don't quit. They keep on grinding out at bats. They keep on finding a way. A lot of mistakes being made, but it's a really young team.
And then they're getting some home runs every so often
Well-
when they need it.
Well, here's the thing: if you take what Josh Bell has done in the first month of the season, Okay, compared to last year at this time, he had 1 home run.
Yeah.
Now he's got 8. He's pacing to hit 42 home runs this year and knock in over 120 runs. So Josh Bell is doing what they need Josh Bell to do. He is making some plays at first place, even though he's never going to be a Gold Glove first baseman.
Chip, I got to interrupt you. Let me
Anybody
tell
can
you,
play it.
I said if he starts hitting and knocking in runs, he's fine at first base.
He's fine at first base.
I leave him alone.
No, some of
Because
the
it's a hard position to play for most
Anybody can
people.
play.
some of the areas that need improvement, and I don't know what the answer is to Jung Ho Gong's problems.
He might be done.
But I heard Neil Huntington say that he has never done well in AAA. Well, I think you need to get him at bats, and I think he needs to go down. And I'd be honest with you, I'd bring up Cabrian Hayes.
Whoa.
Okay,
I like him.
He's a young kid who's going to be our future third baseman every day. Kid's got some pop in his bat, and the corner positions in the infield. Those are positions that you need home runs and RBIs out of. Those are 2 positions that you expect.
Explain that to Smoking Jim.
And
You need that power, buddy.
you need the power of the corners. Same thing as you need more production out of right field and left field.
Yeah,
Melky
yeah.
Cabrera has been playing a fabulous outfield and has been hitting the ball extremely well.
I'm so impressed with him and just his hustle.
And
I thought he was washed up.
Did we rush Gregory Polanco back too soon because of the lack of major league qualified outfielders that we have? I think Gregory Polanco needs more seasoning, and he certainly doesn't have any arm strength. And I watched Saturday night, I watched the A's take base after base, just because Polanco
They just go.
He just doesn't have the arm strength.
And his baseball IQ, I don't care what you say, it's limited.
Well,
He truly is one of the few guys in baseball that's made the major leagues that has a limited IQ with what goes on.
Yeah,
it's just sad.
But okay.
He's a great athlete.
It is what it is, and the Pirates need his bat in the lineup.
Yeah.
But all these things being said, they've got 2 of their 5 starting pitchers that are on the injured list. Chris Archer with a sore thumb, and you got Jameson Taillon who's shut down. He will not throw for a month, which means it's probably going to be 6 to 8 weeks before he comes back because after not throwing for a month, they're not just going to plug him in.
No,
and
you
have
got to
him
rebuild
come up.
yourself.
You've got to rebuild the strength.
What a curse.
Okay. But anyhow, the Pirates seem to be finding a way to win ball games, and then when the team gets healthy, I think they could make a run for it. I mean, they're only 3 games out of first place right now in our division against 3 teams that are stacked against us. You've got Cardinals in first, the Cubs in second, and you've got the Brewers in third. Christian Yelich is just having another MVP season.
Look at the Marlins get rid of him, and look what he does.
15 home runs so far this year.
It's unbelievable.
Do you think the Pirates got another 9-game loser streak in them? Because they seem to be getting on a winning streak than a losing streak.
Oh, they could. They could have that streak.
I mean, they could very well. And they could run off 10 or 11 in a row as well. I mean, there's every bit of a chance to do that.
We won't hear a word out of Smoking Jim when they win 5 in a row, let alone 6
But,
or 7.
I mean, for the Pirates to continue to be
Smoking Quiet
successful, what we need is more consistency out of the bullpen.
Yeah,
and we
that's
seem
been
to
a
be
little
we've
weak.
been losing bullpen arms as well. And it seems like right now they're going to run with 13 pitchers. And they
well, we got 27 games coming up in the next.
We have 27 games in the next 27 days. That includes a doubleheader on Memorial Day.
Yeah.
That's a makeup game from earlier in the season. So
that's a lot of games.
That's a lot of games, and hey, nobody's feeling sorry for the Pirates, and they're just showing up every day and they're playing baseball. And with the exception of, I think, out of their first 31 games, the exception of 2 or 3 games, they have been every single game. They have been in it. Okay, so they've been competitive. There's been a couple of games, and I know Jim's going to hang on to the 14-1 pasting we got
How
by
could
the,
he not? It
by
sticks
the
in
A's.
his head. He
But
didn't
I mean,
see it. He heard it.
But you know what?
When you hear it, it sinks into your brain deeper. Look at him.
And you want to know the good thing about that 14-1 game it only counts as one loss.
Good point. Good point.
How many games we play in Smoking, Jim? You know?
Oh, how about that?
Yeah,
Starling
yeah,
Marte
still
singles to
162.
center. Adam Frazier scores.
That's
Pirates
my-
are up
Down
1-0.
goes Frazier.
Bottom of the third.
You didn't mention Frazier.
Well, he's had a little up and downs here and there.
He's had his ups and downs, but he's been solid. You know,
He's
we're
actually
we're not losing any games because he's playing second base.
Put it like this, he's made some great defensive plays, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, he has.
His range wasn't too bad with getting over for
But
balls.
the person whose range that I've been impressed with was Cole Tucker.
Oh,
I mean, I
he's
tell
a
you,
beast.
he's made some plays that is just like they're
And he got
eye-opening.
the arm.
He's
He's
got an arm. He's got an arm. Yeah.
He got a cannon,
And
Smoking Jim.
you know, maybe the best thing that could have happened to Cole Tucker was Eric Gonzalez.
Well, he's the-
collided with Starling Marte.
Oh, that was tough.
He's the shortstop of the future, but it's now.
Well, and you know what? And if that's the reason why I say they ought to bring Cabrian Hayes up, because you know what?
It could be now.
He could be now, because you know Colin Moran seems to be good in a part-time player role.
Limited.
You know,
yeah.
and coming off the bench, he's been productive. And I don't know how many more games that we can continue to march Gong out there. And I mean, not only is he not producing at the plate, yeah, he does have the there is the option that he could run into one and put it in the seats.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's made a number of errors in the field.
We don't need that on top of
And
the
if he's
play.
not going to hit, I mean, you better play mistake-free baseball.
I thought he'd been playing good at third.
You haven't watched much, have
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
You missed it. A couple games like that. That gets away from you. It's
But-
understandable.
I mean, you know, hey, give the Pirates credit, but I would send him down to the minors and see if you can get him on track. I don't think that, you know, he doesn't hurt the major league club if they're losing games in AAA because of him. You know, I think Brian Hayes, he lit up Altoona last
Yeah.
year, and I know that they want to get him so many at-bats in AAA.
Sure, they'd like to.
Put him up, let him play. I don't care if we lose a year of eligibility on him.
Wow, you're
I mean,
getting old school
No,
on this
it's
now.
about
They used to bring the young players up, let
It's
them play.
about winning baseball games now before, you know, we get too far behind.
Look
And
at
we're
Willie
right in the
Mays
middle.
and Mickey Mantle. They came up, didn't hit well at first. They didn't give up on them. They become superstars.
Mickey Mantle didn't hit well at first?
No.
I didn't know that.
No, a lot of them had a tough time adjusting to the major league game.
Yeah,
Like you
Barry
know. with-
Bonds didn't hit so good either until he started juicing.
So what if he won a couple MVPs before
Yeah,
the juice?
you know.
MVP.
The
juice helped
yeah,
out.
Then he won batting titles, home run titles, and MVPs. You know.
How do you hit 20, 30 more home runs when you're almost out of the game?
Yeah, when you're in your late 30s, almost into your 40s. But
How does that even happen?
yeah,
Happened with McGuire.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't make it that far.
yeah, his body broke down on him.
That's
Yeah.
my favorite player.
That was one of my dad's favorite players. He goes, "What's up with that creatine?" I go, "Dad, he's cheating."
Andrew
He goes, "He
Steve
got
Dion.
creatine in his locker." He had the steroids and everything going. I said, "That's just the cover for that."
The only player I'd say I'd pay to watch play was McGuire. He saved the game.
Well, I'll
you're
tell you what,
lying
if
now.
you get it, if
Baseball.
you're going to pay to see anybody play, I'll tell you who you watch. Wait till the Los Angeles Angels come to town. Watch Mike Trout.
Yeah.
He is by far the best player in the
I
game
like to
today.
get his wallet.
You're not having that happen.
400.
We're almost out of time. It was great to have Smoking Jim Frazier, Chip Hayner. The crew was all back. Hopefully you enjoyed some of the sports talk and nonsense, because we do have to add some nonsense in there. Not that Smoking Jim's adding that nonsense too much, but he gets a little crazy. Talk to him about the infield fly when you see him out in public. But thanks for watching our show. We appreciate all of you, and stay Joey strong.